Speaking of the Lions, though, we wanted to touch on this. Did you guys see what happened to Sam Laporta, the star tight end for the Detroit Lions?
It's just
terrible.
Sad.
So in that case, for people that don't know, Sam Laporta, he actually, I believe, broke the rookie record for receptions for a tight end.
Yes.
And he got that on his first reception. It was the first touchdown of the game, if I'm not mistaken. I would have thought that's a good time to get him out.
Yep.
And maybe some of the other guys. Amon-Ra St. Brown played the whole game. He balled out. That dude's a dog.
And he has blue hair now. Just kind of side note, I just saw that posted on the NFL like 5 minutes ago. He dyed his hair blue for the playoffs.
Perfect.
Yeah. But like my thing is like what there's been some questionable things about Dan Campbell, and we've always like kind of brushed them off or kind of made fun of him a little bit just because like, oh, it's just Dan Campbell because he loves football. But then when it comes to like stuff like this and even the call against the Cowboys right towards the end of the game and continually just going for it to try to win the game after and we talked about it last week, right, where he was on the radio and kind of getting tore up there. But and then this game, it's just you have a good team, yet they're full of talent. You've let them this far, and then you choose to play all of your players that have gotten you to this point that you're going to need in the postseason, and somebody like Sam Laporta goes down. What if it was Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jared Goff, right? Like I just don't understand. It makes no sense. The risk that you're putting your best players in or at, it's just, it makes no sense to me why Dan Campbell would do something like that when he knows what it means to the city of Detroit, who haven't won a playoff game since 1991. It just feels like typical Detroit ball. And it's just a shame because it could have been prevented.
Well, and the culture, Dan Campbell saying, we're going to go full speed, screw it, next man up, we're going to keep playing, right? And all those players, the majority of them are going to say, we're going to go out there and play. We want to play. Most players are going to say that. When you went around the NFL circles of former players on the pregame shows, postgame shows, heard a lot of reports of going, you got to get them out of there. Because Sam Laporta is the best offensive weapon as far as for a receiver perspective for the Lions outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's who's the go-to guys? You're throwing it to Amon-Ra, and if you're not throwing it to him, you're throwing it to Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta was a red zone monster too. He truly is that next generation. Iowa just produces tight ends, don't they? It's
really
just
ridiculous.
It's absurd what they've done. But this goes back to where we're going. We're circling back around. Why are we talking about this? Lamar Jackson. I know everyone's saying, oh, Lamar is going to be rusty. And I even saw RG3 saying there's a bad idea to sit Lamar for this case. Can you imagine Lamar playing in that game in that weather against the Steelers and that front seven?
I would have been, holding my breath the entire game if he played in that game. I was holding my breath when Patrick Queen was out there on the last offensive drive before the kneel down for the Steelers in that fourth quarter. I was like, God forbid something happen. And I know they were thin, and I know they were, down players or players were out as well. But like, God forbid your pro ball inside linebacker gets hurt there. And I'm not questioning, John Harbaugh's decisions there, but like that's a player that was out there that I was just like,
and like you said, due to injury, Phillips went down.
God forbid that happens.
Yeah, no, I think Queen was a different because, like you said, they got thin because of injuries that kind of happened in the game. And suddenly they didn't have any inside linebackers behind him.
And that's what he said.
So I think that.
But he didn't expect to play as much as he did.
He did not.
He said that afterwards. He's like, but he do anything for his team.
Right. I will say Lamar Jackson would have never played in that game because had he suited up, I would have just simply gone on the field and taken him off. I would have just picked him up. And
I said when Lamar ran out for his Pro Bowl intro, I was like, they should be carting him out. They should be putting him in bubble wrap. Not that he's going to get it, but like, that's just like protect Lamar Jackson at all costs right now.
Even him sitting on the sideline, I was like, make sure he is not near any, people tumbling through. I was like, get him away. Put him in a box.
The sniffles. We don't need
that was the other thing. Exactly. That was with that man's immune system. The fact they had him outside in that freezing cold rain, I was like, people, get him in a box.
He was bundled up though. He's bundled
up when it's 70 degrees. He hates the cold.
I do too. I don't blame him.
But the funniest is like when they played Jacksonville, it was like 65 degrees there, like at night. and he showed up in this massive coat, hoodie, and everything. He hates the cold, and I think it's so funny.
Oh,
It's hilarious. That was so funny.
He despises
I don't blame him.
He despises it. But you just saw right here, if we brought up, we'll take it up and down again. But if what happened to TJ Watt happened to Lamar, we'd be calling for Harbaugh's job. In this context, though, for the Steelers, they needed to win the game. So you got to play your guys. But for the Ravens, let's just think of it from this way. If the Ravens don't play well in the divisional game, you go, oh, it's rust. But what happens if Lamar gets hurt in that situation, and then your whole complexion of what the playoffs and what you're trying to do is done? Just like that, and everyone will say, why the hell was he playing? That will be the reaction every single time. There was nothing to gain in this besides maybe getting Lamar some reps, but that's not worth it. I think Lamar is a guy that's learned a lot from his previous experiences, and quite frankly, if he goes down the team's road to the Super Bowl, that's a huge hit. It's not that you can't do it. We see teams rally around.
You'll say it. You won't say it. I'll say it. The season's over. If you lose your MVP quarterback, like we've seen, like you were about to say.
I'm not going to say that because Big Dick Nick and the Eagles found a way. And with the bye, what I'm saying is, different situation. It's different, but at the same point, I'm just saying as a competitor, I hate an athlete.
I understand.
An athlete saying, "Yep, they're done." No, if Lamar Jackson goes down, you are no longer the favorite in the AFC.
No, I'm saying, and I agree, it's not completely done, but as an athlete, you can do the PR talk and say it's not officially over. I will state, if Lamar Jackson wasn't hurt, it's like this team runs with Lamar Jackson.
Yes.